I was studying this week, and just nothing was coming to mind until the end of the week. Sometimes that's the way it is. The Lord just lets you work at it, lets you work and study, whatever. And finally, the end of the week, all of a sudden, I said, let's run to town. I got to go get a couple things. Let's just run to town. And you see things, and it just brings things to mind. Boom, and there it was. I mean, before I even got home, I already knew what the lesson was. And it was like, well, okay. You don't always get it sitting at home in the study. That's putting in your, what was Timothy told? Study to show yourself approved, so you're ready. When the lesson comes, he also told us something else. Just go say what the Lord tells you. Don't you get all worried about it. We're too worried about knowing everything that's got to be said instead of just doing it. And both of them get us in trouble, studying and not just doing what God says. So we're going to look at scripture here, and then we're going to go into it a little bit. This is what we celebrate as our Independence Weekend, based on 249 years ago. Roughly, we declared ourselves independent from the rule of another country. And I know last year I looked at this and studied this from the angle of the difference between liberty and freedom, and there is a difference. And people approach them different because one is there's just no bounds. You have no freedom. There's nothing to constrain you. You're free. You can do whatever. But in a society where there's other people, there has to be liberty. That means you're all following within a bounds of rules and constraints that makes it fair and equal and safe for all of society, not just what you want. And there's a little bit of difference there. There's some responsibility comes with liberty. So we're going to go at a little different angle today. We're going to look at a couple other things instead. But we're going to start here. John 8:31 through 36. Brother Javen, can I get you to read that? 31 through 36. Well, that's what we're going to look at. We're going to look at Christ's freedom. He said he'd make you free. He didn't say he'd set you free. I went back and looked at as many and as old of interpretations as I could find. He will make you free. There are a few interpretations, but they're modern interpretations that say set. You go back and look at the Hebrew, look at the Greek, look at the old languages. It's all make. He's going to create a freedom. There's a difference between just unlocking it and creating a freedom. There's more happens when he creates it. Everything about that freedom he created. I'll make you free. I'll give you everything that goes with it. And that's what he said. See, freedom is the power to act or speak or think as one wants or desires without any hindrance or without any restraints. That is what freedom means in its rawest definition. No restraints. It means you're not imprisoned. You're not under somebody else's rule. You have the ability to act as you wish. There's no external controls. Freedom. Come on, we want to think of it as a country. That's not that's a tighter definition. We're looking here at total freedom. Freedom is often associated with liberty and autonomy in the sense of making up your own rules. But here's what the Lord brought to me. If you think you really want 100% total freedom in that sense of the word, the only way that can work is for you to live in a desert island all by yourself with no other humans on that island. That's the only way total freedom works. You can do whatever you want Because any other situation, you affect someone else. And now you've got to take them into account, or they don't have freedom. Come on. See, what people out here in this world are calling for with all their protests and all their fights and fusses and stuff, they want to do whatever they want. But they forget there's other humans involved. Your freedom stops where it involves another person. Now there's got to be considerations. Now there's limits. Now there's constraints. That's the way it works. Even in Christ's freedom, there's constraints. What's the number one, number two laws Christ told us? Come on. Love God first with everything. You don't hold nothing back. Nothing's yours. It's all his. And then after that, love everybody else. Well, that's his freedom. Because when you do that, everything else falls into place. He even said you wouldn't need the prophets and the laws if you did that perfectly. They wouldn't be necessary. Those will take care of it. We have a hard time getting just two laws right. A civil society has relationships with other human beings will always require constraints, restraints, laws, and rules. That's just the way it works. So that any decisions that are made, any actions that are taken, don't unfairly, adversely, or injuriously affect another person. But at the same time, and this is where over the course of history, many, many civil wars have been started. Excessive laws, excessive restraints and bounds, excessive punishments for disobeying those laws, that takes it the whole other way, and that's bondage. See, there's a medium in there. Total freedom leads to anarchy. That's lawlessness. That's sin. Come on, people, we got to get this through our head. There's never total freedom in the sense of what the word actually means, because you're going to lead you right to sin. But there's also, you can go too far the other way, and it frequently does. More often when one man or person is in control than when a group of people are in control. Not that it doesn't happen under a group, but more often. A king or a dictator or emperor type situation much more frequently led people wrong and led a whole society down a path because he could force it all by himself. In places that had some variation of a democratic type of society, there was often more constraint, more restraint. Not that they didn't all go corrupt as some. The Romans proved that. They were one of the first to have a democratic type of society. Not a perfect democracy, but then again, we're not even a democracy. I want people to forget that. We're the United States of America. We're not a democracy. We're a republic.
Why do they call it democracy? Some of the most educated people in our land, they want
Because they're too lazy to read history and understand it. All you got to do is read a little bit of Benjamin Franklin, and you'll understand. Mob rule, or what do you want to call it? The majority rules, as he said, unconstrained has never in any society been a good way to rule, because it's easy to influence a mob. That's why choosing the way we do it, choosing groups of people to make decisions for larger groups of people, it filters it through filters. There's checks and balances that help filter things and help to keep mob rule from going insane, because otherwise one area of a country, one mob, one group of people can make decisions for the whole country.
your cities would control it.
Yes, your large cities would control everything, and frequently they have a completely different aspect on life than rural and industrial and everything else. That's the way it is. And it was done, God gave these guys wisdom. The way they did it, it's the most sophisticated. If you study, and I'm a I'm a scholar of history. If you study history and study governments, it's one of the most sophisticated government systems ever put into place, what we have. The way it breaks down, and then taking it even further and using things like, at the elections, the deal where each state gets a couple representatives. Yeah, electoral college, all that. That was all done for very sophisticated reasons to stop mob rule and to give each area of people as much of an equal say as anything else. Where mob rule wouldn't work, or majority rule wouldn't do that. They would just get, well, there's just not very many people, they have no say. But see, the Lord knew this. That doesn't mean everybody gets everything they want. So how does this relate back to what we're looking at this morning, Christ's rule? Well, what is it to be free? To be free is to be not under control or power of someone else or something else. That's what free is. There's no something or someone controlling it, stopping it. He goes, I'm going to make you free. Well, what is Christ always talking about? He wasn't telling the Jews they were going to be free from the Romans. Well, they were under Roman rule, had been forever. He wasn't telling them that. In fact, they were told at times, you need to submit to your rulers. They were told many times, you need to submit to them, obey the laws, treat them with respect. They're the rulers right now. God put rulers in, God takes them out. That wasn't what he was telling them they're going to be free from. They're going to be free from the sin that bounds them. Christ was always talking to them about how to be free from sin, how to be free from the constraints of things that would help you or keep you from being able to serve God and make it to the kingdom of heaven. That's what he was talking about. I want to look at this again now. Then said Jesus unto the Jews which believed on him, if you continue in my word, you are my disciples indeed. In the Amplified, it says, if you abide in my word, continually obeying my teachings and living what I taught you. So I said, okay, let's see what the Jews have to say about this. Because whether we like it or not, they were there too. We keep saying, well, they're not Christians. There are Jewish Christians. They were raised and born in a Jewish lineage, but they live as Christians. But they also know the history, probably better than we do. The Jewish Orthodox Scripture says, I'm going to read it in the interpreted version because I can't even pronounce all the words in Jewish. I can pronounce some of them, but not all of them. Therefore, spiritual leader, the King Messiah, said unto the Jews, or the followers of Judaism, who had faith and trust and believed in him, if you will remain in the word or follow my speech of me, then you are my disciples. You're my group of believers. And you will have knowledge, you will have understanding, and you will have the wisdom of the truth. And that truth will make you free. It will give you freedom because you know what's causing your bondage. Well, I was reading some stuff about a guy who was he's talking about people who are captives, and he said the worst part is the hardest captives to free are the ones who don't realize they're captives. The ones who don't realize they're in bondage. They're the hardest ones to set free. They don't realize their condition, that they've been like this all their life for so long, so many generations, they don't even realize what's happening anymore. Because the truth is going to do it. Truth, the Hebrew word for freedom is a word, and it signifies liberation, independence, and the breaking of chains. It particularly has a reference. See, when Christ spoke to the Jews, he spoke to them things they would know and understand. It don't mean a lot to us. It had a specific reference and meaning in that time to the Exodus story. So when he's telling them this, they're immediately thinking, oh yeah, we're being set free. We're released from Egypt. That's how it's coming to them. It doesn't come to us that way. To them, that's the first thing they thought because they knew the words he used, and that's how they used that to talk about being released from Egypt. See, this stuff meant something to them. In the Greek, it means to be exempted from liability and set free from the dominion of sin. So this is what he was talking about. The things that hold you captive, what I'm going to tell you the truth is going to make you free from that. That's not going to bind you no more. Okay, the truth. What is this truth he was talking about? Come on, what did he tell his disciples all along, clear up till the very last moment before he ascended? What did he tell them? Go tell people the good news. Go throughout the world, spread the good news, the gospel, spread the good news. Tell them about God and his mercy and his love and his plan of salvation and his kingdom, and he wants everyone, he wants you to be there. Tell them about me. I came. I'm your intercessor. Come on, we're supposed to tell the world about Jesus. He is your escape. Come on, when you're bound up, who else can you call on? What other hope is there? Hey, I came down, I went through this and died for you. You call out to the Father and call on him my name. You call on him. I'll talk to him. I'll talk to him. And you get released. The things that held you bound, you still live in that same body. You still have that same job. You still live in that same house you always lived in with the same people you like or don't like. That doesn't change. You change. The freedom's now in you. Right. It's not in your surroundings. It's not in the people you live with. It's not in what you do and where you. It's you. You are free. I'll make you free. And this was the first equal rights religion taught on earth. Come on, you study the other ones. Even go back as far and study idolatry and the different idols and stuff. They were very segregated. Even within the religion, they were very segregated. You had people who had a higher status and were always closer to God, and you couldn't get there. Anybody can come to Jesus. Male, female, any race there is, poor, rich, status, no status, and have an equal standing with God. Every one of you can go as far for God and get as close and as powerful with God as you want to get. Come on, it's as equal as it can possibly be. There's nothing on earth that's that equal. Nothing. No matter what they claim, nothing's that equal. He said, I'll make you free. This is for everyone. No one, because of anything in their birth or anything on this earth, has an advantage. It's all you. Right down to you. If you're not making it, if you're not living it, you didn't choose to. Come on. This is harder than a lot of people want to accept, because they want to blame everything on everybody. No, if you are not making it, it's you. It's me. Because regardless, there were slaves, there were martyrs who made it. And praise God, right to the end. Come on. Slaves who lived long lives, never out of slavery, and served God right to the very end, telling their masters till they died, there's a God out there, he loves you. So what's he freeing us from? Well, we know some of the basics. Some of them pop to mind real easy. Alcohol or any addictions. Addictions come to mind. Why? Because it's common in our world right now. And whether we like it or not, they're not sicknesses. They're not diseases. There's no virus I can catch that makes me an alcoholic. Come on. There's nothing I can get medically that suddenly makes me addicted to drugs. All these things become addictions, and then they control your life. You listen to them. I mean, without God, they're not wrong. I had to, in all my college stuff, I had to take a lot of business psychology courses. And one thing that one psychiatrist or psychologist professor told us, he said, there's 12 course programs for everything. The steps are the same for every one of them. Because the problem is, those 12 course programs will help you identify what's wrong. They'll help you identify what you did wrong, what you need to do about it, but they will not release you from it. That's why people keep going back to the meetings and going back. What's the first thing they say? Hi, I'm so-and-so, I'm an alcoholic, or I'm a drug addict, or I'm a this or that, or whatever. What? They have nothing to free them from it. All they can do is identify it and try to fight it. And they admit that. And he told us that. It can't take us. The ones that get the help is the ones who get spiritual help somewhere. It makes a change in them, makes a change in their life. So addiction. So we can think of drugs and alcohol in today's world, and we think this is new. Go back and study the Romans, hon. They make us look tame. See, I still disagree that this is the worst it's ever been. I've read a lot of the Roman times. They were so bad. There's stuff in there that would disgust you. I wouldn't even tell you most of it from a pulpit. No. Very, very bad. Sex addiction. Whether we like it or not, there is people who are literally to a point they're addicted just like drugs. And just like drugs or alcohol, they'll do anything. It drives them to horrendous crimes we see now. Their mind's twisted. It's took over. What did he say before Noah? Their mind is consumed all the time with evil. They can't think of anything else. That's what it does. The devil knows how to get your mind, find that thing that just works on you, and just take it away from you. And up to this point, these people may have never committed a crime. It may not be illegal, anything they're doing. But the devil's got them in bondage. They've been in chains and they can't move. Their life is out of control. And a lot of times you can't see it. They hide it real well. These are the easy ones. How about the harder ones? And I'm not picking on nobody here. I'm just reading the list the Lord gave me yesterday. And I was like, wow. First thing he gave me, appearance. Come on. He said, hey, today's world, that owns a lot of people. It controls their life. It controls their finances. It controls where they go, what they do, who they speak to. Everything's about how they look and how the appearance they have. Come on. Incredible amounts of money are spent on makeup and jewelry, and I don't even know all the stuff because I'm not into it, but hairstyles and clothes and whatever they do with their fingernails and toenails and stuff. I just trim mine. I don't care. But the amount of money and the amount of time that's spent on that, and the amount of focus mentally that's spent on it. Now, there's a certain level of everything that's good, that's necessary. But then there's lengths where the devil's got you. You're no longer in control. Because no matter what you want, everything you do, that's the first thing in your mind. I go to work. Oh, what are they going to think about this? What's so-and-so going to say? Is somebody else going to be wearing the same clothes? They're going to make fun of my hair. They're going to... Come on, I work with people. They live like this. The devil's using this in ways we can't think of. He's got them under control. They just don't know how to get free. Pastimes and entertainment. Come on. Any kind. We can pick any one of them and harp on them. There's a long list. But pastimes and entertainments own people. It drives where they go, when they go, what they do, how much money they spend. It takes them away from friends. It takes them away from family. It takes them away from God. It very, very frequently gets in front of God. There is nothing on this earth in a pastime or entertainment. I'm going to say this real clear. I grew up believing this. I still believe this. I've never seen anything to prove different. There is no pastime or entertainment more important than being in the service of the Lord.
There's no even employment.
Huh?
There's no even employment, even if it's adjustable, nothing could be in front of the Lord. Your job could be the same way.
If there's a possibility to work and sustain your family and not miss services, you need to be taking it.
Right.
Regardless if you don't like it or the shift, this way I can be in service. And I lived like that, so I know. I've taken third shift when I detested it. I could be there. I thank the Lord I'm not in that position anymore. But I still occasionally get asked to do things I do overnight installs and stuff. And I said, don't do it on Wednesday night. I don't want to miss. Well, but that's Wednesday. I don't care. I don't want to miss. If you're doing it, do it late. So it's after service, after I get home. Oh, well, he doesn't like Wednesday night. Hey, there's things that's more important. But in this world, like Brother Matt said, when we were kids, it was rare. Once in a while, there would be a game maybe during a weeknight on a church night, but there was never a game on Sunday. There was never whatever you want to call it, a concert or a recital or whatever. You just didn't. They didn't do that. Now it's like that's when they pick to do it. Come on, the devil owns us in more ways than we can think. The bondage people are in, they don't even realize it's bondage. And I've been around a lot of it. I know what I'm talking about. They don't realize. I said, you know how tied up you are with this. It's owning you. Everything's dictated in your life around this. Oh, no, it isn't that bad. Oh, yes, it is. Well, I can speak in my case. Grandpa told the kids, you guys really need to be in church. You need to be here. Told the grandkids. And finally, the grandkids told the parents last year, we don't want to play ball no more. We don't want to play. And the parents still wanted them to play. We don't want to play ball no more. They're not playing this year. It controlled them. It owned their life. Okay. Power, status, and control. Come on. There are people who are driven by this stuff. I work with people who are so driven by moving up the corporate ladder or in other places by starting and running their own business and really, man, I'm going to own this. I'm going to own the world. And ones who get into politics and they're driven. And it owns them. We're not talking about just trying to do a good job. We're talking about it owns them. I worked hard when I got into what I do now for a living, and as I got into it and got going, it doesn't take a lot of work for them to start wanting to promote you, because if you do a good job, they want other people doing what you're doing. They want you managing them so that they will be. And they started trying to promote me up through and on into higher levels of management, and I went just a little bit, and I said, nope, that's it. So I'll just do a small group. That's it. But how are you going to move up in the ranks? I don't want to move up in the ranks. I want to make a good living for my family. I'm here to draw a paycheck. I will do a good job. I will do it right. I'll make a good living for my family. This is not my life. This does not define me. I have a life that's more important. When I'm able to retire and not have to do this at all, I'll be gone. This has no hold on me. I would much rather be doing what I'm doing right here this very minute than I would be over there sitting in there working. Oh, you got to be kidding. I had to go through 2 managements to tell them that. Same thing. The second one just looking at it goes, that's what you want. Do a good job. What do you want? Just help me. Help me do my job. I'll do that. I'm not moving up. I have no desire to climb the corporate ladder. And I could have done it. Just, I want to live for the Lord. And that'll take up time. And I've seen how it destroys guys who do it. And women who do it. It takes over your life. We've got to be careful. We don't realize I'm not in bondage. You might be in more bondage than you think you are. You start looking at life and start digging in. How about feelings and emotions? Come on. How many people do we know? Every one of us knows somebody in our life who that runs their life. Their feelings and their emotions control them. They can't ever control it. They might be good people but they can't control those feelings and emotions. It runs them. Everything's worrying about this, worrying about that, being upset about this, being bitter about this, and so said this, and that's their life. How are you free to serve God and go tell His gospel and win the world when that's what's controlling you? Come on, we forget our purpose. Our purpose is not to have a good, happy life. That's not our purpose. Our purpose is to go out and tell the world about Him. Not one place in the Bible did He say go out and pursue happiness. The Scripture doesn't exist. God wants us to be happy in what we're doing, but we're supposed to do His work, His will. So, God said, I was studying this and He made it very clear. I've got the answer for you on all the letters of the alphabet that people use nowadays. LGBTQ, A, B, C, D, and all the rest of them. They got letters you don't know and you don't want to. Oh, they do. There's perversions out there you can't imagine. So we're going to read the answer. All right? Genesis 1, 26 through 28. He got the whole answer right there in the first book of the Bible. So all these ones who go to, all these ones who want to justify how they can live their lifestyle and be Christians, and they can be God's people, He's already answered it right there in the very first book, first chapter of the Bible. And God said, "Let us make man in our own image, after our likenesses, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God made man in His own image. In the image of God made He him, male and female created He them. He didn't mess them up. He created exactly what He wanted. Then He took it a step further. He solidified it. And God blessed them and said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply and replenish the earth and subdue it." And it goes on. Now, answer me this question. How can you be any of the letters of the alphabet and fulfill that second part?
Right.
Come on. Oh, but you can't fulfill the second part. He didn't just create them. He said, go be fruitful and multiply. That was the first commandment He gave man. And what else does He say? I never change. Come on. We don't need a lot of scriptures about this is a perversion and this is a abomination. He said right here, He told us what it was. I made you. Go do this. You can't do that if you're any of the letters of the alphabet. You're already against God's will. You're already out of His will. If you're out of His will, you are not saved. You are not God's child. And you will not make it. It's right there. That's the first commandment He gave you. You're breaking the very first commandment. Because He didn't say for you to go have somebody else make kids for you to raise. Come on. It's right there. We make this thing a lot more difficult than it is. We could go on. There's a long list of things that put us in bondage. Things that tie us up. Not just addictions and things that destroy us physically in our health, but things that tie up our time, whether we like it or not. The devil's biggest weapon against us is taking away our time. He knows how many hours you have on this earth. And if I can get 40% of those hours tied up in this, I've already got 40% of you right now before we even start. And it isn't hard with people out there to take up 30, 40% of their time with one pastime or one problem, whatever it is. And if I can get something like emotions and feelings and bitterness and anger to work on you, man, I got you like 95% of the time. Every waking hour I've got you. Because you don't even have to be out doing nothing. It consumes you. Come on, he knows how to get control of us. He knows how to take away the freedom you have to be able to go do what God gave you to do. Now, Christ said, if you know the truth, if you'll know what I've been teaching you, what I told you, how to live, love God, give him everything, love each other. And if you'll really learn to live it, you can be free. You can really be free. You won't have all these bondages. Oh, you'll still live the same life, but you can let go of it. This doesn't have to have control of me no more. Come on, another one's fear. There's people who live in fear. They're afraid of everything. I have a boss that way. He's literally afraid of everything. He can't make any decision without checking it with 5 people. He gets consumed with being afraid. Come on, you can't live that way. It actually destroys your health. Christ said, hey, I've got freedom for you. He said, you got to be born again. Why? Because the man that you are right now, the person you are right now, can't fight this. They can't battle this. They can't break away from it. In and of yourself, even the anonymous groups will tell you, you're always going to be fighting it. You're always going to be Addictions Anonymous, Alcohol's Anonymous, Name One Anonymous. You're always going to be fighting it because it's just you. It's part of who you are. What's Christ saying? Let's change who you are. Let's get you reborn. We're going to make you a new person. When he says the old man will go away, he didn't mean your body and all your clothes and everything you own. He meant the you. Oh, your human body can still be tempted with things. Your soul knows now there's something more important. And as long as your soul keeps its focus on God, that won't affect you anymore. It won't get you. You may be tempted off and on occasionally here and there, but now you got a way to get over it. You don't have to give in to it no more. Come on, the truth will make you free. We can have freedom. We want to talk about independence from other countries. How about independence from the whole thing that's taken this entire world down? Not just one country. Come on. You look around the world at all these different countries and all the conflicts and things they've got going in different places, whatever, no matter where it is, they've got conflicts, they've got problems. What's the one thing that fixes every one of them's problem? Same thing. Because if you'll know the truth, if you'll learn it, if you'll abide in it, live it, if you'll apply it, I'll make you free. Once I fix you, now you want to live for me. Now that becomes your priority. You want to live like me. That becomes your priority. Come on, it fixes all these problems. This country wanting to take over this one, and this thing wanting to happen here, and this people wanting to do this, and it fixes all that stuff. You don't have a desire to do that anymore. Well, you can't do that and be saved. You can't do that and live for Christ. And what's most important? If you're living for Christ, what's the most important thing in your mind? I want to make it. I want to make it. That's the only thing that matters. When everything else is said and done, whether I die rich, poor, in bondage or in freedom, that's the only thing that matters. And with that changes everything. It'll put a stop to war. It'll put a stop to a lot of things. It would actually put a stop to famine. Because people in places that had the food would be taking it to the ones who didn't. Even though they couldn't grow it in their country, it'd be there. And there's plenty in the world. Come on, the vast majority of everything that happens is due to greed. The vast, vast majority. I tell my kids that all the time. I said, I've been watching it, and I'm more of a scanner of the news. And when you do that and you see and you look at this person wrote about it, these people wrote about it, you start getting a view of the different views of what they're looking at, what they're saying. They're all trying to push their own agenda. The vast majority of them is not about anything other than getting your attention to read it. They make money if you read it. Just like they used to make money if you bought the newspaper. Now they make money if you read their article. And they've had some, they've interviewed them, they admit it flat out. They'll say anything, whether they agree with it or disagree with it, to get you to read it. It's all about money. Most of what happens in wars and conflicts is about money. Somebody wants something somebody else has. So when you go to Christ and he makes you free, he can solve all that. He can solve war. Come on. There's nothing he can't solve. We got to get this message out to the world. This is a secret, apparently, because not very many are taking advantage of this. This must be a big secret. It's not getting out. We were told to tell everybody about this.